Fanatics and the league have approved you. 8 words in an email filed this week in federal court. According to a new lawsuit, they were written by a TikTok team lead to a sports card breaker from a small town who says he was fighting to get his banned account back. Here's what happened. On July 13th, a new federal lawsuit was filed in the Central District of California. The plaintiff, David Skalsky, ran a breaking operation called Quad City Breaks. He's suing as the successor to his company, which, according to the complaint, no longer operates. The defendants, TikTok and its parent entities, the Fanatics family of companies, the NFL, NFL Properties, and NFL Enterprises. 11 counts. The core of it is antitrust. The Sherman Act, the Clayton Act, California's own antitrust law, plus false advertising and interference claims. And I want to be precise here because this gets mischaracterized constantly. This is not a counterfeiting case. It is not a player likeness case. The lawsuit alleges market foreclosure, that companies coordinated to shut independent sellers out of the marketplace. That's the theory. Alleged, not proven. And this filing came with a notice of related case, formally tying it to the Big Papa Breaks lawsuit that we've been covering. Same defendants, and according to the notice, substantially the same series of events. 2 breakers, 2 states, 1 alleged playbook. One honest caveat, both cases come from the same law firm. That's a widening legal front. It is not 2 independent voices. Keep that in mind because I'm keeping it in mind. According to the complaint, at his peak, Skalsky was doing as much as $200,000 a month in sales. Then, the complaint alleges, starting in late 2024, the bans began. Account closures, lost traffic, and by the end of it all, the complaint says he had filed for bankruptcy and his family lost their home. We are independently verifying the bankruptcy. That's a public record, and we've pulled the thread. What's not in dispute is what happened next, because it's documented in the exhibits, and this is where the filing is different. Exhibit A is 13 pages of emails, filed with the court between Skalsky and a TikTok employee. And for the first time in the story, the platform side has a name, Steve Halupka. His own email signature in the exhibit reads, TikTok Shop Collectibles Team Lead. Walk the timeline with me. August 18th, 2025, Skalsky writes that his main account still shows permanently banned. Quote, this is my livelihood. This is how I support my family. August 20th, he's asking whether perma-banned accounts could come back. Notice the plural. For many of us, this is our livelihood. He's not describing one account. He's describing a community. Same day, the reply from the TikTok side. Feel free to reach out to Sean, and he should be able to help facilitate. Reach out to Sean. Get the paperwork going. Get you back up. Hold on to the word paperwork, because we know exactly what the paperwork was. It's also in the court file. August 21st, I can't even get into my account. It's completely gone. August 25th, Skalsky signs a Fanatics memorabilia seller agreement. That's Exhibit D. We'll open it up in a minute. August 26th, Fanatics countersigns. And on that same day, August 26th, the TikTok emails lay out the process. Reply to TikTok's IP reports address, quote, upload a copy of the Fanatics letter, explain that you, quote, now have authorization to sell the product, and then, quote, I'll alert my team to quickly execute on their review. So according to these filed emails, the path back from a permanent ban ran through a signed Fanatics agreement, a Fanatics issued letter, and an expedited review. Sign, get the letter, upload the letter, get reviewed. September 3rd, the email from the cold open, in context. Skalsky asks whether a warning on his account is a problem. The reply, yes, shouldn't impact you anymore because Fanatics and the league have approved you. I want to be careful, and this is important. Nowhere in the visible text of these emails does anyone from TikTok say the words, sign with Fanatics or you stay banned. What the filed emails appear to show is a TikTok team lead routing a banned seller into the Fanatics agreement process, and then telling him in writing that his reinstatement rested on approval by Fanatics and the league. Whether that adds up to illegal coercion is exactly what the lawsuit exists to decide. Not me, a court. And here's the gut punch. September 3rd, the same day as approved by you, Skalsky writes, "My account is gone again. All my videos got hit with community guidelines violations, and then my name changed to a user with a bunch of numbers. Approved in the morning, gone by the evening, allegedly." And then September 8th, the last page of the exhibit, and maybe the most important sentence in it, from the TikTok side, quote, "Not our choice who the NFL singles out to take down. We are only reacting to what the NFL flags for content to remove." Read that again. According to the filed email, a TikTok team lead says the NFL chooses who gets taken down, singles out, and TikTok just executes. If that's accurate, it puts the league inside the moderation loop of a platform where independent sellers were competing against the league's own retail partner. That is the whole ballgame of the antitrust theory, alleged in one sentence from inside the machine. So what was the paperwork? Exhibit D, the Fanatics memorabilia seller agreement, the actual signed contract, filed with the court. 3 things in this document, and I'm going to give you all 3, including the one that helps Fanatics, because you deserve the whole document, not the convenient half. First, exclusivity. The seller agrees to sell only memorabilia purchased from Fanatics for the covered leagues on the platform for the term of the deal. Second, the exits are not the same size. Fanatics can terminate this agreement without cause at any time. The seller can only walk away without cause during a renewal period, and the deal renews automatically every year. One side has a door, the other side has a door that's only unlocked once a year. Fucking cute. Third, and here's the one that cuts the other way, and I'm showing it to you anyway. This contract explicitly says the seller is not required to purchase any product from Fanatics. No minimum. It's in black and white. So if you've heard claims in this community about a mandatory buy-in written to these deals, this signed contract says the opposite, and honesty about that matters. What the lawsuit alleges instead is a practical squeeze. Exclusivity meant sellers couldn't move their existing non-Fanatics inventory on the platform. While according to the complaint in Exhibit C text, getting product out of Fanatics at prices a small seller could afford was another story. Contractual freedom on paper, alleged dependence in practice. That distinction is the case. Oh, and the contract calls itself highly confidential. No disclosing its terms, no public statements about it, which might explain why, for 2 years, almost nobody in the hobby has been willing to talk about these deals on the record. The silence you've noticed, it may literally be a clause. One more document. Exhibit E is a Fanatics letter. The same type of letter those TikTok emails told Skalsky to upload. This one's for a different company, a distributor, and it certifies that the company bought product from Fanatics and is, quote, authorized to resell. Think about what that means if the allegations hold up. A private company issuing permission slips that determine who is allowed to sell sports memorabilia on the biggest live selling platform in the country. One track gets a letter, the other track, allegedly, gets flagged. Now, what would the defense say? Because there's a real answer, and it's sitting in the plaintiff's own exhibit. In the September 5th email, the TikTok side asks Skalsky to send over the video IDs for, quote, his custom products, so they could be taken down. And the next day, Skalsky himself writes that going forward, he'll be, quote,
running all licensed product.
Expect the companies to argue that this was never about crushing competition. It was about moderating custom, potentially unlicensed product, and that the Fanatics letter was simply proof of legitimate sourcing. That's a real argument. It's also true that the complaint alleges the takedown swept up authentic licensed goods, which, under a doctrine called trademark first sale, people are generally free to resell. Where's the line between IP enforcement and market exclusion? That is the question in both these lawsuits, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've answered it. TikTok, Fanatics, and the NFL have not responded to this complaint in court and have not responded to my request for comment. The individuals named in these exhibits are, as far as these documents show, employees doing their jobs inside systems built above their pay grade. We've reached out through their companies, and if they or their employers want to give their side, this platform is open. So where does this go? 3 things to watch. 1. Whether the court formally relates this case to the Big Papa lawsuit, putting both in front of the same judge. 2. The defendant's first responses. Motions to dismiss are coming. They always do. And remember the context we've covered before. In a separate case, Panini's antitrust claims against Fanatics survived a motion to dismiss last year. Survived, not won. But it means claims in this family have cleared that bar before. 3. Us. We're verifying the bankruptcy records, the company records, and the people in these exhibits. And we are actively looking for breakers with no connection to the lawyers in these cases who are willing to talk, on the record or off. If that's you, contacts below. 2 breakers, 2 lawsuits, 1 alleged playbook. Now with names, dates, and a paper trail filed in federal court. Whatever the truth turns out to be, it's going to be decided in the open. We'll be there for all of it. I'm Steven. This is 1 of 1 Interviews.